We are actually just digging some piers at the moment, and just wanted to explain a little bit about soil testing. I don't have a great deal of knowledge on there, but I want to give you an example as to what why we get soil testing and what's happening. So currently digging some piers, you can see quite easily this is being able to push through the ground very easily. This particular site come back as a problem site. So problem site means that it didn't meet a kilopascal rating, and a kilopascal is basically a unit of pressure. So when they put a drill bit or an auger, the soil testers have one very similar but a smaller version. We need a certain pressure rating to basically give us an indication on the soil and how well compact it is. This one come back as not great, so this just gives the engineer some information for him to be able to tell us what to do when we go to dig the piers. So this is why soil tests are super important, to make sure that we know what we're dealing with before we get there, and if there is going to be any issues, we can identify all this before we start. So I know some builders will say, oh look, we don't need it, it's the same, but for the small, I think it's about $800 fee that they charge to come and do, it can really help out before we start in that pre-construction phase, to make sure that we've got all our ducks in a row and got all the information that we need to. So yeah, if we don't have it, we're only guessing, and we don't really want to be guessing when we're holding, you know, big structural supports up, like, you know, there's a big steel beam up there that's coming down here, that's coming down to there, which is into the ground. So there's quite a lot of weight from this roof load sitting on top of all this, so this needs to be making sure that it's structurally strong enough to be able to support all this weight. And then we're going to build this deck out over the front here, and this is going to be able to support all this as well. So you can see it's digging down quite easily. It's quite a crappy soil. And the only other thing they do as well, once they've got the soil, so they test for the compaction and the pressure force pushing down on the soil, but they'll also grab a sample of this and test the sample so that we know how much movement the soil is moving. So for example, an M-class site, I think from memory, H-class site is 40 to 60 mil movement. So when the soil is wet, it's expanding, and when it's dry, it's closing down. And this is how you get shrinkage, movement in your house. So what will happen is when it's raining, and this is why you don't want water running towards, you know, you always want to batter your banks away. You don't want water running to your house, because if you've got water sitting there, your soil's going up, down, up, down, up, down, and your roof's doing the house is doing the exact same thing. So if the water's falling away, it leaves the soil, the drier the soil, the better. You just don't want to have any waterlogged spots where your house can sit in water, because that's how you get cracking and movement and all that sort of stuff as well. So you can see here the soil's actually starting to change colour, so this is a good indication now we're starting to hit into natural ground. So this is what we're kind of looking for. We want to get past the black stuff, and we really want to be into, you know, something like this. You can start to see all the rocks there as well, so and you can start to hear the auger starting to grind as well. So that's what we're looking for. Let's just make sure we're hitting what the engineer requires, so that our structure is going to be stable and have no issues.